proudest day, and the proudest time, and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the rally podcast. The 2025 season continues, and we're in for a special now. We're going to look back at the RAC rally. I'd have to say it's one of the most epic events of the calendar, and I don't know, I just seem to love it for whatever reason. I think it's the historic cars, real throwback to my early childhood rally memories of like 5 days watching the RAC growing up, getting to watch Top Gear, staying up late in the evenings to watch the reports and all that. So it just still has that special place in my heart, and to see the way it's been recreated now, it's amazing. Like, we're going to hear from some of the guys competing in a few minutes. We're going to catch up with Gordon Noble, who finished second overall along with Paul Barrett, and then we'll chat with Marty McCormack, Barney Mitchell and Mats Performance to give us their views on the BMW M3. One of the stars of the rally unfortunately broke down on the last morning, but they were having some run up to that. And then also we're going to catch up with Richard Hogg and Mark Hanna, who were an old Rumley, the big rover. They're joined with Mark McCaffrey, who's over in his Lada, Suzuki ancient Lada, and then Alan Treacy and his Corolla. So there's lots of really good stories there tonight in this episode here, so I think you'll enjoy that. So yeah, that is the RAC is just one of those provocative rallies, 5 days and nights, and it's a tough man machine. You're psychologically, everything, it just throws everything at you. It just looks like one of the most fascinating, fantastic, great events. So I think we'll no more listen to me. I think we'll first of all we'll hear from Gordon Noble, and then that'll go into Marty McCormack, Barney Mitchell and Mats Performance. Gordy, the RAC last weekend, you come away with second overall. You have to be delighted with the result, right on the top of the timesheets right from the get-go.
Absolutely, Kevin. Of course, we went there with a sort of a plan that we were going to try and manage the kind of speed and try and get to the end. I mean, this has been sort of 6 years in the sort of planning for us. This is our fourth time to go there. With so every year we went and we learned something more about the terrain, about the event, and all that sort of stuff. And the plan was that we go and be around about the pace for Thursday and Friday, and see where we got to. With all of those events, you have to be sharp from the sort of start. You can't be left lingering for the first day and be back three minutes or something like that. So we had to kind of keep up. The plan worked really, really well. We kept plugging away, doing fairly good times, and trying not to take too many sort of chances. And it worked well. The conditions were horrendous and very, very difficult, but ultimately it worked out for us. So we're certainly delighted with the word we would use, and really, really happy for. Not only for Paul, but for the sort of team around us as well. I mean, it's very much a family and friends team. Car was rebuilt at home and that sort of stuff, and it always family and friends were there working on the car and looking after us and so on. So it's a big team effort for them, and I think they're rightly sort of proud of what they've got out of it.
Yeah, because like Paul often refers to as the guys that's been with him forever. Like, this car was stripped down and rebuilt. And the shed out the back of the house, basically, and it's just, he says there's people come 6-7 nights a week descend on this car, and he just can't believe the how much they want this. They want it nearly more than you guys do.
Absolutely, I think that's the thing about not only Paul's garage, but so many garages around Ireland or UK or probably even the world, is that people have got this enthusiasm for going rallying. The guys that have the ability to go and work at cars come to the shed and to work at it, long hours, and they're the ones that are determined to make sure the car doesn't have any sort of problems. And in this particular case, we were blessed. Our car was faultless. I mean, we had a few small issues, but I mean, generally, engine, gearbox, axle, suspension, all those things, brakes were all perfect. We had a problem with a starter butt. We had my map light failed once. A few minor things like that, but generally the car was mechanically sound. As you say, the people around you are as determined to make it happen as the crew are as well. So, and it's a very just sort of reward for them to see that their hard work does get something out of it, and everybody gets a bit of a bonus, and a bit of a buzz out of it. So, super, must say, really, really good. And one thing that I have to mention is Paul's wife Cherith and her friend Una. They were there cooking for us, and I have to say, in my 30 years of rallying, we haven't been fed better for years. We had the best of good dinners and breakfast and everything else is perfect. Really, really worked well, you know.
And like such unsociable hours, like you were leaving at silly o'clock in the morning and not finished till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
The days were long, you know. It's okay for us, but Paul and I were starting, you know, the first car started at 7:30 in the morning. We were usually 8:30 the way that rally runs, but it was almost midnight on forget which night, Saturday night maybe, Friday to Sunday night, was almost midnight before we were back. And you must appreciate then that the guys that are working at the car, they only then start to spend another hour or two at it, you know. So it definitely the days are long, and when it's cold and dark, I mean, there was 40% of the rally was in the sort of darkness. When it's cold and dark, it's another bit of a drain on the actual crew as well as the mechanics and the team around you. So yeah, you're quite right. The days were long, but as I said, this has been 6 years in the planning for us, and that's one of the things that we learned from the early days was that the crew have to get as much rest as they can, as well as looking after the car, you know. So we were conscious of trying to get finished up and get back to the hotel at a reasonable time and stuff. So trying to keep our bodies and minds fresh as well as the car fresh, you know.
Yeah, and like this year, like, you know, we said before the event that this was going to be, there was no like standout, there was no superstars this year as such, you know. And I think it proved the timesheets. There was so many more guys, you know, setting top 3, top 5 times. And right across, like the guy in the Volvo that come over from Norway, like you know, you see that 46. He was running 4 for 5 at one point. You know, like it was a very open rally this year.
It was very open. As you said, there was none of the superstars there. Solberg and Mick had and weren't there, and so on. So it was very much an even race between everybody else. And you say it's very, very open. I mean, there was anybody in the top 20, and even that again the Volvo, as you say, seated 446, maybe should have been running higher, but any one of those people were capable of winning and getting to the end. They all were capable of putting in very good times, you know, and consistently putting in times as well. So, it was a very, very open rally, and you had to be on it, I suppose, is the word from the outset. Not at 110%, but certainly going fast that you weren't going to get dropped anywhere. And I think that worked for us. But the big conundrum this rally was the amount of ice and the amount of snow we had. We didn't not so much falling snow, but there's quite a number of stages, especially on Friday and Saturday, where the road was very, very icy. The road was actually polished, and the catchy bit was you were driving on gravel for maybe a mile or 2 miles, and suddenly go round a corner into some blind bit of the forest where the sun hadn't been, and the road was literally polished ice. I think that's one of the things that Paul is good at, was reading the actual grip and catching on to where you could get grip, where you could go fast, and then where you had to be extremely careful in those icy bits. So that was the hard part of the rally. I mean, Monday was relatively easy because the gravel was clear by that time, but I'd say particularly Friday and Saturday were really, really icy and difficult. And you saw that whenever the minis came out in that Saturday evening on that Hindley stage. I mean, I can't remember. We lost count of how many, and we're off maybe 12 or someone in 10 miles. So they were parked everywhere, I must say. So, but we were different in that sort of regard, you know.
Yeah, and it was everything was through that. Yes, low sun, you know, ice, snow, rain, fog. Was this probably conditions wise one of the toughest RACs you competed on?
I'd say it was, yeah. We had the 2021 version, which had that big storm on the Friday night in Kielder. That was one night when the storm was really, really bad. But the rest of that rally was reasonable then. But this was more. This then lingered from first thing on Thursday. There was ice on Krunching on the first time. We then had much worse snow and ice. The Gurn, Hafren and Duffin was particularly difficult on Friday. Saturday we got up into Kielder and into the western side of Kielder. Then we still had more snow and ice, and that I say that the stage that caught the most people, I think, was Hindley, where really had lots of polished ice. So that makes it very, very difficult, you know, especially when it's dark and it's icy both. And there's lots of treacherous places, I suppose you could even call them. The second thing is unknown at this event. It's not as if you've done a recce a couple of days previously.
Yeah.
You know where the shaded parts are, the rough parts are, the good bits of gravel. This is all unknown to you for first time along. You have to treat it as you sort of see it. And yeah, it was difficult, but I think that, you know, the fact that the organisers lost a number of stages on Saturday and Sunday evening. I think it was 4 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. Some of those were attributable to the weather and the number of cars off, and that created delays with setting services in and getting the stages running again. So, the delays were quite big. I think there was one time we were maybe 2.5 hours behind schedule. So, it was difficult for them as well to manage the rally, you know. But I think they did an excellent job. I couldn't speak highly enough of people like those Heppenstall family and the team that organised the rally. It's a huge mammoth event, you know, spread over five days, big long days, distances every day. Mm-hmm. The number of marshals are out, you know, all the people with the orange overalls doing time gun radio, whatever else. And there seemed to be hundreds of them everywhere. There never was a shortage, never was one of them standing anywhere. There always was groups of huge big groups of them, and they were all out and as happy as Larry as well. I think the spectacle of the event, as much as anything else, keeps them all coming out. You know, it's not just they wouldn't come out for just a wee small rally, but the spectacle of the event and the whole furore around it, I think, helps to bring them along as well.
Yeah, because it is one of those events that has become greater than the sum of its parts. You know, like it really has become. Like you get guys coming over from RNA coming over from Sweden Norway, and other guys traveling. Like it was like America and all these different places come. You know, it's an event that it's a must do. It's one of those bucket list events. Maybe that's where I'm trying to go with.
It is indeed. It's right up there now with a number of other iconic events, and people are now learning that they can have fun. They can come and spend 5 days rallying in Britain, even if the weather isn't good. I mean, we have some American friends like Seamus Burke and Kyle Tilley make the effort to come over again, you know. And there's a few Italian guys in a Porsche, I think, that met them somewhere along the line as well. So you see, it's a very iconic event, big challenge, and it is snowballed in terms of everything else, and the media now has caught on as well. So you know that keeps everybody involved in what's going on. And I believe, and we were away rallying all the time, but I believe the people here at home were just, you know, they were stuck to their sort of screens and phones, watching everything that was happening as well for the whole sort of five odd days. So it was good to get that buzz going. Look,
because like you have Matt Cotton and Bex Hixton, and then you have Paul Woodford and the special stage crew, and like that's for forestry rallying out in the back end of nowhere. The coverage they put on over the 5 days was unreal. Like they had, I would say that like maybe not all the stages, but the vast majority of the stages either live or stage ends or something. You know, like there was always some kind of coverage, even though there was like I think it was the first day that there was the time seemed to drop off the system, but they kept us informed as best they could.
Yeah, I think so. I think those are both very good professional crews. You know, Bex and her husband, they do that BTRDA championship, and Paul's been out and about that. Roger Albert Clark over the years. The organizer did have a glitch with the results system. I believe they're trying something new to link to the actual tracker, and some of the links didn't work, so the difficulty getting the results published quickly, and then inevitably there's a lot of competitors querying and thinking they should be going faster than the time that they got and that sort of stuff. So I know that the CLO was quite busy trying to deal with all those issues, but in fact, the results are still haven't actually been finalised, Kevin. They're still trawling their way through them. So there's been partial classifications published, but nothing final yet. So I say there's that many queries of people all over the place, and then these delays and that sort of stuff. So it was good, but yeah. And
you said earlier then too, Paul, you know, come into his own, like whenever these conditions were this mixed, you know, he could pick his way through. And like I heard him one of the stage ends, he attributed that he used to motocross and like, you know, finding where the grip was on the motorbike, and you needed the best line, you needed to find the grip, and it's obviously something that he has trained his eye and his foot to sort of coordinate and to get the best out of those conditions.
It's one of those tricks of the trade that you don't don't teach people. I think you learn it by sort of doing it over the years, and you realize that there's sometimes grip on the sort of side of the road rather than the middle of the road, and the different color of the surface shows you how much more grip or even less grip there is, and you use the road as a kind of general guide for where you want to go. Then you can use the shotgun all the time. You get you slow down or get you speeded up or something. So. It was good to be able to do that. He's clever at that, and that's from, I'm not sure whether that's from motocross or farming or building sites or whatever else, but some people have a very good way of learning how to do that, to look for the grip base. It works on gravel, works on tarmac, works everywhere, I can assure you. There's sometimes more grip off the sort of natural line, and you can use that to your sort of help and so on. And certainly on this particular time, it helped us,
Mm-hmm. And like you said as well then too, with the conditions so bad the first 3 days, probably wasn't as hard mechanically on the car, but that was probably harder than on the two guys in the car, because it needs you're even if you're going up fast, it's a more natural, it's a better flow. But whenever you're threading your way through things like that, it's going to drain the concentration, it's going to drain the energy levels.
I think we discussed this with a couple of other crews over the weekend, and you said it was exactly it. It was difficult to get some sort of flow. I know WRC drivers talk about a rhythm or whatever else, and we found that because there was a slippy corner and there was grip and then there was slip, and that and it varied so much. It was hard to get a rhythm or hard to get a constant go. And you're always focused anyway, but I think if you see maybe even focus wee bit harder, you're looking for an extra element to it. You're looking for that grip as well as just the line or the braking effect of the car, and then you couple that with it being sort of dark on quite a number of those stages, and then of course the other factor of this rally was the road miles were quite long. I can't remember how many there were in total, but there was some fairly lengthy sections of road, and I remember there was a road section in Wales on Friday night, one on a narrow little road that was 11 mile over a mountain. It was very, very icy, and there was people actually stuck on that. Believe it or not, that was only on the road section that could have been. So you can imagine the sort of conditions we were in whenever you get stuck on that. But I think everybody managed to get through. It was there 125 finishers out of 170 starters, something like that. Yeah. So a fairly good record. The number of people that got to the end.
Yeah, and I know talking to other competitors as well. They says the organizer were fantastic. If you were able to get out of a stage under your own steam, get back into service, get the car sorted, get back out again. They weren't going through everything with a fight. They were being as helpful as they possibly could to keep you on the road and keep you moving.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ethos of the sort of that Colin Heppenstall has about the rally. He plans a very long, difficult route, but he is very accommodating to people that have trouble to get them back into the rally as quickly as they can. They don't have to wait until the morning after. They feel if they get fixed and back to service to get out, they will let them keep on going. So that's part of the attraction to people whose ambition is just to get to the end. Is that they would put it? There are plenty of chances that you can do that. So you have to give them praise for that. And we have to give them praise for being lax about that part of the sport. But I do think that they get credit as well for being careful about the sort of the technical regs as well. There's been a bit of debate over the years about some of the technical regulations for various cars and so on. So one of the good things that they did on this rally, there was a secret scrutineering check, I suppose you want to call it, in the middle of Lockerbie on, not sure what day, Kevin, Sunday morning, I suppose. The regroup was in there. We drove into the regroup, and then we were directed from the regroup into a little garage that had a lift in there, and they had scrutineers in there. Put the car up onto the lift and had to check it, gearbox and suspension, front and rear, and a few other bits of the diff and so on. And I think all of the top 10 running cars at the time were taken into there and given a little bit of a check over and let out again. So it just people get the element of comfort that nobody was going to get away with some technical irregularities and so on. So it gives you a bit of confidence that they are looking after that, as well as looking after the people that trying to achieve the actual finish as well. So
because you want to be competing on a level playing field. You don't want to be suspicious of the guy running in front of you or behind you or whatever, and doing something like that just makes it everybody's playing with a fair ball.
Very much, and I think we were all surprised it actually happened, but now in hindsight we're all very, very thankful it did happen, if you know what I mean, that the people weren't going to get away with taking a chance of running some illegal parts on the cars. You say it's much better. I mean, not that we're aware of anybody in this event, but we know this. Most of the competitors we know of are very reasonable people. They're there to rally and that sort of stuff, and they're not there to take some sort of chances with the car. So that's the one big thing on that rally as well. It's the long, hard rally, but the camaraderie between competitors is excellent as well. You know, there's quite a number of times there was delays on stages. We were having plenty of crack and plenty of banter with the other folks. Were just concerned about the sort of stage times, but outside that, we're still friends enough. So
yeah, because
we'll still work on that as well.
You could see that, like, you know, like if you just to set a good time, Ocean was like, you know, like, how did they do that kind of thing, you know, or vice versa, you know, you must have been taking chances doing that. It was lovely just to see that, you know, like the natural banter that was just happening. Like it wasn't a forced effort at all.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. I think that's the same with all of the crews. I mean, Ocean, Price and Dale, we know quite well. The Jason Pritchard's been there for quite a number of years. Marty, obviously, friends with everybody that's going about. Mark Higgins was there, another buddy of ours from many years back, with plenty of crack with them. You know, if people are stuck on the side of the road, you certainly wouldn't be long pulling in to help them, that sort of stuff. So, no, that's good. We have plenty of banter with all of the folks. Like, and we still, whenever the date starts, you're just going to be competitive then. So, that's the way it works, and that's the way it should be, I suppose.
Yeah, and like then you know, you said that the conditions started to clear up coming into Sunday, then into Monday, and like then it was race on. Like it was, you know, tightening the belts where, you know, every fraction, every last hedge will be trimmed, you know, to get the times. Like, do you feel that in the car that, oh shit, this is getting real again now? This is full on attack again.
You do, yeah, for sure. I mean, we got through Sunday and we were quite, you know, content with our pace on Sunday and that sort of stuff, and we had a good day. But then on Monday, it was a brand new day. We're back to Kielder, the infamous Kielder, when it could suck you in anywhere and that. And then Marty took off on Monday morning and started putting them some very, very good times, and I'm not sure how much time he took out of it, but I know we were very wary of the speed that he was catching us behind, if you know what I mean. We were conscious we were going to have to speed up a bit, going through the 3 long Kielder stages, which were eventually going to be joined up. So we did make a bit of an effort for one of them in there, but then unfortunately Marty had his gearbox issue and left us with another conundrum. Then we were 2 minutes behind Ocean, but we're 3 minutes ahead of Matt. And then how do you tackle that long 39-mile stage? How fast do you go that you don't drop 3 minutes, but you don't want to push your luck and get a puncture or slide off and so on? Because a puncture in that 39 mile, you're definitely going to have to stop and change it, and you could end up getting 2, because there was bits of the stage did get quite rough after the first pass. We were wary of that as well. So thankfully, in hindsight, we managed that well. We did a time that was, I think, 1:40 slower than Matt and 14 seconds slower than Oisin, but got out of it without any other trouble or no other issues. So that was the difficult part, was managing that, if you know what I mean. So and you're always sitting in the car, you've done 20 mile done and you've 19 to go, and you think, should we be going faster? Should we be going slower? That sort of stuff. So
because I know, speaking to some of the other guys there for the podcast, then the amount of notes it's in the 39 miles. I can't remember the numbers now, but it was a crazy amount of notes, crazy amount of pages, and that's a bushwhacker. That's a Lakeland stages all crammed into one stage, and you have to get the notes right on time. Paul has to keep his concentration levels on point for that whole time. There's nothing you can do to prepare for that. It is just right, one last push here.
I don't think you ever consciously think about what you're going to do. You get in and do it, and you just continue to do it. You don't relax. You don't let your brain dream off to think about the finish or think about something else. Okay, if you have a problem with the car, you probably hear a rattle or something like that, but you do just keep focused, if you know what I mean. Our time was 36 minutes, something. I've done a few stages in my life that have taken that sort of time before, you know what I mean. But you just keep going and going and going. Some drivers like to know how far they've got to go. That you don't, if 20 mile left, or 10 mile left, or five left, and that kind of relaxes them a little bit, and there's not that much left. We're nearly at the end now, but I think you just keep on focused. You shouldn't relax, is that the way to put it? You should have the same consistent pace from the start to the end. So I think for us it was easy enough to do. We just kept working at it and kept pushing on. So left it at that.
And then to roll over that finish line and to have, the family and friends and those guys that, would have lifted the car and carried it across the sea for you, like to have all them there too, must have been so special.
It is good to come to the end of the stage and they're all standing there waiting on you, if you know what I mean. You could do a feeling of satisfaction, elation, all of the things, Ken Graham couldn't actually make it, so he was one of the team members that was missing that day, but we'll just say thankfully Ken's good again and good to go and be back with us the next day. So it was, as you say, it's great to have all the boys that were there, Sammy, Dermot, Andrew, Calvin, all the boys that worked at the car. Sheriff and Una, who'd looked after us and fed us like absolute kings, and then we had two guys, Cormac and Ryan, who looked after everything else. And again, every member of the team is actually critical. You couldn't actually survive without any of them, if you know what I mean. So, and it was fabulous to give them something back that they felt that their input has been useful to achieve something in the end. So, delighted, I must say. For sure. And I suppose then the question to finish it up, it's already less than 2 years until the next one. I suppose, as I said maybe at the outset, this result has been 6 years in the planning. This is the fourth time to be there, if you know what I mean. And every year you go, you learn something, and you make sure you don't make the same errors again. And for sure, even if we have finished second here, the rally wasn't quite perfect. You could do lots of things better, lots of things different. So if we do go again, there will be learning from this one for sure. You need to ask Paul. He's the man with the budget rather than me. So we'll see how we go.
If the call comes, you'll be there.
I'd say we'll go again. Yeah. I think we will.
Marty, it was almost the dream debut for the BM on gravel, but it just wasn't to be. But you have to be very proud of what you've achieved.
I think taking it all in the whole weekend and the reliability of the car and certainly the performance of the car we had an exceptional weekend. Yes, of course, we're gutted we didn't get to the finish. I do believe it would have been a very exciting finish. With the progress we've made with the car, I really think we've seen the ability of the car, and the fact that the gearbox was in the car was original from start to finish, and the fact that it was the only component in the car to fail all weekend, I think is a testament to how far we've came in such a short time. Mm-hmm. So although we didn't make the finish, my goodness, are we happy bucks coming home?
For sure. Because like Barney, myself and Marty and Matt spoke a couple of weeks ago. Like this was like a very this project, I suppose, was very much in its infancy. To see where it's come from to last weekend, you must be so proud of what you have achieved.
Yeah, it's still in its infancy, Kevin. To be honest with you, there's a lot of things I think in the pipeline. I suppose that we're going to start investigating now that we know we've got the miles now to sort of lay down a base of things we liked and things we need to sort of improve on. So there's a lot of work to do yet. But where Mats took the car, I know, a couple of months ago from a pure tarmac car to a thing that hums through the forest bush. Definitely, it's a very big achievement.
Yeah. Because Matt, everybody says, the BM will never work in gravel. People have tried this before. It doesn't work. It must be a strong sense of achievement for you to sort of maybe give them the two fingers nearly.
Yeah, for me, I think we showed them it actually does work. But that's also something I think we already knew a little bit, that it just sometimes you have to put the pieces together, but we could see there is a lot of potential. And I think on the Sunday, you could actually see the potential on times, because, okay, Marty did a few rallies, but never with a big field. And now there was obviously, the good drivers, the experienced drivers, a lot of cars, demanding stages, a lot of different weather conditions. And we could see, okay, for sure we had to work because it was not easy. But no, I think we showed everybody that the car actually does work very well. And I think that everybody saw that the car works much better than what everybody expected.
Mm-hmm. And right from the get-go, it was from stage one, the car was on it, and the attention it attracted as well too. It wasn't just an older Escort that was there; it was something different. It was the noise, it was the pop and the banging. It was a real hit with everybody, spectators alike, and spectators and all our crews alike.
Yeah, I think the car was quite. I think everybody enjoyed the car actually because it's okay for sure. It's something different, and then also the way of how Marty was driving, and then obviously his comments at the finish were great. Even yeah, but even for us, for us as mechanics as a team, it was really nice with them boys, as Barney always say. It was nice, Yeah, it was really nice. And yeah, I think we of course we started already immediately on a high with P2 and P1 in the first two stages. And then we start to struggle a lot with the ice and the snow.
Yeah, because Marty, this year was like the weather conditions. Yes, the RAC can be unpredictable. You can get everything thrown at you, but you're getting everything thrown at you in one day this year, not over the 5 days.
That's right, and I think I made a comment somewhere on the Sunday or something like that, that it's very unusual in the RAC, bar a few years, to get so much ice throughout the 3 days, and every stage really every stage on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday had ice in it at some point, and there's no secrets here. The BM chassis is a race car chassis. It's more rigid than an Escort chassis. So therefore, trying to get it to work with the ice was a challenge. And trying to get it to get traction out of the slower corners, which we always know is our weak point. It was then exasperated by the fact that we had so much ice in them corners. And I was questioning myself as well. Should I be pushing harder here? Because with the ice, it's always you just have to feel it and feel where you're at with the car. And certainly, there maybe was places where I could have pushed the car more, but I felt that I didn't want to throw it off the road before we actually were able to show its true potential and we were able to enjoy the car ourselves. So it's always that balance in your head. And we were still working with things. We're still adjusting lights, getting the right settings, and things like that. Even on the Saturday night, it was pretty slow in the dark, and that came together with us on the Sunday. So even though we found the ice and things difficult, we were changing tires and things like that, trying to find. We had no big test plan here. The teams that we're fighting against had been planning this for 12 months. And we made no secret in the fact that this is something that we came up with at sort of last minute. Myself and Barney and Mats are very busy with everything else, and this was something that we put a lot of attention into at the last minute. So, and even we made the choice to go to the RAC without having any finishes in the car. So that was just me and Barney could feel how the potential in the car and where it could go, and Mats had the faith in us to take it there. So. And with the RAC as well, it is that unique endurance event. So with all them things in mind, I really think that the car proved itself very well. There was people that says to me that we wouldn't be in the top 10 in the car. So I think the fact that we're proving that we're able to hold our own until we got the clear roads and the gravel roads up in Scotland, and then we're able to improve in that dramatically. Mm-hmm. I think it's a real testament to how far Mats has brought the car in a short space of time.
Yeah, and Barney, he's probably selling himself short there too, because Marty has that natural ability to fine grip. It's not something that comes natural, or it comes naturally. It's not something that you can learn, I suppose. It's a natural feel for what's below you.
I'm going to say something there. You'd be amazed how much grips at the very edge of the corner, right beside the hedge. There's a few times we found a bit of grip that I didn't think was going to be there. Look, Marty's got a cool head on him for that crap. So there's times, and he knows that he was coming off the stage himself, and he's going to be, no, look, lad, he says, we could have done this and could have done that in this corner and that corner. He says, but sure, it's not much point, I think, laying the ball dung.
Yeah.
And you still had 3 days ahead of you, so it worked out, and I would have said I didn't see anywhere where he couldn't have made much of a difference, to be honest with you, without taking a big chance. So you kind of have to get on the pony and ride it for a good while before you can sort of extract the most out of the thing when you get the conditions to suit you. So I'm going to tell you something. It was, how would you put it? I felt very comfortable in the car all weekend, even though we have done very little with it. It's just the things itching to get out on a good dry day, you know, and then I suppose it's up to us to make it work in different conditions now as well. Like so.
Mm-hmm.
I must have a comfortable seat, Barney.
Them boys put a good one. Them boys put a good one in for me.
I think it's fair to say, Kevin, we spent 3 days getting till Sunday, and then once we got to Sunday, we were able to push the car. I was starting to you've seen the I'm sure you've seen the end of stage interview in the first stage on Sunday morning. I was absolutely buzzing in the car.
Yeah,
and that was for me why I took this car to the RAC, was to get that buzz. I absolutely love driving the car, and when RAC is difficult with ice and stuff, it is difficult. It's difficult on a driver. Were we at a disadvantage to an Escort on this ice and snow? I believe we were, but by no means is that an excuse. We were more than happy that we were able to hold P3. But my goodness, when Sunday morning came, did the smiles start coming? The car is just electric, absolutely electric. Yes, there's more work to do, but it's so enjoyable, and that's what makes it all worthwhile, and all the work and effort going there worthwhile is when you get them clean stages. And you make mistakes, and there's corners you break early until there's corners you overshoot and you spin, and we went into a ditch in Newcastleton and things like that. But that's all part of learning a car.
Mm-hmm.
But my goodness, did the thing just go electric then? And that's the thing. And yes, I'm very, as we spoke about earlier on, I was never much of a sports person, but there's something in there that I do enjoy driving a rear-wheel drive car. But my goodness, can you feel that car and you can really make it work for you? Like,
yeah, because like Mats, the Escort has taken 50 years of development to get it to where it is now. You know what you've done in 3-4 months to take that car to where it is now. It just must. The possibilities is endless from here, really.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, it's endless until a certain point, obviously, because you still have to follow the rules. But yeah, if we see what we did now in a very, very short time, even if I look to the few rallies we did, just a small difference we made with big positive consequences. Even at the rally, we were still trying. Like every day, we were trying stuff with the rear axle, the front axle, and the boys had to work hard, But for sure, when you are with the team like with Barney and with Marty, it's also nice for them. It works very motivated if you work from 6 a.m. till just before the start of the rally, and then be immediately quickest or so. Then it's also you want to keep pushing, and also to be fair, what helped a lot. Every change we did was a step forward. We never actually went a step backwards.
Yeah.
So and then obviously with Marty, obviously, he also was pushing a lot. Like I've working now with them for a few years, but Marty can be quite chilled, but now he was really like they were full on it, and that's also nice for us to have this commitment. You just, like I told you the other day, you just want to, you don't think about anything else. You just want to see how far can you go with the car, and then it's nice that Marty also the comments he gives on the interviews are nice. It's nice to see his honest opinion, even if it's whatever his opinion is sometimes, but
And Barney, we spoke before, and you're very much about, yes, you want to go out and be competitive, but it's about making the memories, and it's being, enjoying it in the moment. You don't want to be looking back in 20 years' time and saying, oh, we should have enjoyed that more. You're enjoying it in the moment, and to have your crew mixing along with Matt's crew and in-round service and all, the way everybody just pulls together, the way everybody gelled, that just makes it that whole event so special then.
I think the big thing is too for Mats, there's a massive culture shift to the gravel rally in the UK from European tarmac rally. So there's no, first of all, you had a full chase crew. There's you're more open to do different things in the gravel in the UK. You've no regroup in the middle of the day. Everybody goes for their punch either. So you're constantly on the move. So I think the two Jessies, as we call them, Jessie 1 and Jessie 2, I think they came boys in the end. They went back men. But it was very good to watch them, how they progressed, and how they never put their heads down no matter what was going on. And funny, I think this was the toughest RAC that I've done. but it was wild crack. Because to be fair, I don't think. Well, not that you always want to be competitive, but didn't really give a shit either. The focus was on the car and seeing how the other thing would go. Again, the lads, like you have to tip your hat to Oisin and Paul and Matt and them lads, and Mark Higgins even, they're all top lads, and when you go up against them boys, you have to respect what they're doing. So to be thereabouts on a new car, like, was wild satisfying. Like it was wild good. Especially even that first stage of Monday morning, the thing hooked up, boys, and you just thought, oh, let's go. I don't think you were gonna catch the lads, or anything like that. But like you were really going to the bits and pieces of work that we did over the weekend, and the wee changes we made, and all them different bits and pieces were all going to show themselves on a stage time or two on Monday.
Because as Matt said there, every change was a positive change. There was nothing that you were kind of thinking, oh right, maybe we shouldn't have tried that. Every change was working towards the right way, and then come Sunday into Monday, all those small changes were suddenly all hooking up together.
Yeah, that's it. Like the pieces of the puzzle they're starting to come together. And I know here. Look, we tried different tires. We tried. There was just so many. There's so many variables that you have that you were so sure of on Escort, and we're finding things that were surprising ourselves. That you would have said if you were just looking at it offhand and said, no, fuck, that's never going to work there. And then sure, we'll try it anyway. And here, the next thing you're coming off the stage going, "Hey boys, just mark that in the book."
Like Marty, we spoke there a couple of weeks ago, and we were saying this was going to be one of the most open RACs there has been in years. Like the amount of top guys that was going there, I think the rally proved that. Like the amount of different people who were setting fastest times, or top 5 times even as well too. And like it was like you could have been going into one stage and third and come out in fifth or something. It was like it was bouncing back and forwards. People were having small issues, but like it was never. It never went stale the whole 5 days.
Correct, and I think that's the unique thing about the RAC is, there's nobody's going to run away with it normally, but especially when you throw in the dark, you throw in the ice, you throw in the fact you're traveling across the country to do it, and the caliber of drivers that's coming to do it now, and like the bulk of their is quality drivers, like, and that's something to be said. You let your guard down at all, and next thing you know, you're 8th or 9th fastest on the stage, and that's just the way the RAC is. You can easily lose a minute on the stage. It's just such a unique event like that. It is in many ways back to the way rallying was, even though you're on pace notes and stuff these days. But I have to say, and just refer to what Barney was saying there, I have to say what a great bunch of lads we had with us this year, between Mats and the 2 guys, Dommy Buckley and his lads, and my wife was there as well, looking after us, and Greg and Carling were there doing chase for us as well. It was just brilliant. It was brilliant crack, and I think that's the thing. It's a very psychologically demanding rally because you're doing a lot of road miles. You do get tired, and it is a bit of a slog. But my goodness, you can keep the banter up, and good people around you, it makes some difference. So really, really good, and the fact that you're driving down the road for an hour and a half. Like I think most stages are like 2 hours nearly away in Wales. And you're driving at 20 mile an hour through all them towns. Which is
20 mile an hour zones. Oh my god!
It was 2 hours to do 50 miles one time. And then you get to the stage, you try and get yourself psyched up and get going. It is definitely it's a unique challenge, and especially when you see the likes of the Oisin, the guys, when they went to Pembury, they even changed into tarmac suspension. That's how serious these boys are taking these things, just for 3 miles around a track. So that and it is something you say, oh my goodness, but it is great to see how serious everybody's taking this event.
Because it is an event very close to your heart. You're a 4 times winner. It's probably the highlight of your rallying calendar.
It certainly is, yes. And being there in the past, going with the Escort and stuff, it's very demanding. It's you feel a bit of pressure on your shoulders, whatever. And I wanted to do something different this year, and that's why when Matt suggested the M3, I was really, really inspired by it myself, because I think that you see yourself in the comments and the videos and certainly everything. Everybody was electrified by it, and I think that's what we needed. An injection or something new. I know I did. Like I'm driving that same car since 2007. on and off, of course. Like there's a few years it's been the garage, but it was really, really good to have a new challenge. And as Barney says, we know every end of an escort. If it's not doing something, we know exactly what to do with it. With the BM, it's all new. It's all new learning. And I have to say, it was an absolutely electrifying experience that I really, really enjoyed. And I have to say to Barney as well, like, because the car's so nice on the fast stuff, I was probably getting carried away a few times. But here, fair play to him, he just sat there and he kept spitting them out. And here, been having a lunatic as bad as me in the passenger seat.
Just tell the truth, Marty. I'm sitting on 10 years, and on the RAC stage, the first time through is the first time I ever tell him to wise up. And I hope I never have to do it again. As much as I was enjoying it, it was unreal, but he took a right-hand corner and broke his wiper, which is on the left-hand side.
Oh, here. And
so that's how far across the bus you went.
About 30 seconds before that, I goosebumps went up through the back of my neck, and I thought, this is just like a PlayStation.
I do it too, because I can see your head bobbing.
But what an experience!
It was that good. The thing just wanted to go forward and forward, and you let yourself off the leash at all. Like, boys, the next thing you're starting to skip corners out like you are on a computer game. It is. I tell you what, there's so much more to come from the whole thing yet. Like,
so much.
Definitely is.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, Mats, this is it. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, we're talking like we actually, sometimes you can say, okay, if people wouldn't know we had a DNF on a gearbox, you would say we are probably talking how we win or how we finish P2 or P3. Mm-hmm. Because we're not even talking about the shit. We're just talking about all the good vibes. Because, in all honesty, also what Marty said, with all the guys we had around us last week, yeah, it was cold. I was really sick. Now everybody's sick except me, so that's funny. No, but no,
and I got to tell you about it.
It was a hard week, but with all the nice people we had around us, it went by like nothing. It was okay. Yeah, the road sections were long, but fuck, it was a really nice week, and we had great people around us, and everybody. Sometimes you feel like, are we with a team? Yeah, for sure. We had we could say we were a team. I'm sure nobody had the feeling that it was a one-man show or whatever. And this is also what is rallying about for me in general. And you don't see this often, So this is also big hats up to the McCormack family, of course, and to Domi. It's nice that you with people. Okay, I don't know Domi at all from before, but the way how quickly we all matched up very well and good together was also a very nice experience for us, and that's how Barney said for Yes and Yes too, or actually Michiel. Also for those guys, it's a really nice experience. It's nice for me when we are on the way back home and they cannot stop talking about it, how nice it was, and they enjoyed themselves. And of course they love Marty's comments, so that's nice for them. But it's a great, absolutely great experience.
Yeah, because Marty, having all those good people there, all pulling for you, all working for your benefit, allowed you to express yourself on the stages and express yourself at those stage ends. Those are still they're going to be remembered in 10, 20 years time. They're going to be played back. Your wet leg and everything else. It's just those things are just going to go down the RAC rally legend.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, especially as and with Barney with me, he's very chilled and relaxed about the whole thing, and the fact that we are a bit older now, we really are there to enjoy our rallying, to go fast, enjoy ourselves, have a good time. It's just nice just to have a bit of fun,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, and I pulled up at the end of A, and I was buzzing. I don't even think we were fastest, but I was absolutely buzzing at the car. It was the first stage at the car with no ice. I was really, really buzzing. And I remember just pulling up and I did the head down and just thought, I'm just going to talk here about everything else except the stage. It's just, let's just have a bit of fun here.
Yeah.
And because that's what we're all about.
Barney, we see it now so often. The stage end interviews they're so sterile. You could almost write them before the driver pulls up, and to see yourself and Marty. The joy in the car, the buzz, that excitement, that's what rallying should be about.
well, that's why we go rallying, Kevin. That's the thrill. As we always said, when you were Cubs, all we want to do is go and wreck stuff around a field, or your old boy, fucking our old boy. I'd say Marty's old boy was the same. Torture pulling us out of hedges and stuff, and just acting like when you're young boys. Anything had an engine in it, you were out on it. Like so, this is glorified. We used to call it staging. I suppose it is stage rallying now. Like, but yeah, it's a legal form of hooliganism, and we get to the end. We get to the end of the stage. You just tell it as it is. And there's days where you get a bad old run, and you just have to say, "Aye, that was shite." There's no point hiding anything, because people that are in the know. So then, when you're standing at a bar at the next rally or something, you're called out for being a bluffer or a liar at the stage end, or trying to hide something, or you know what I mean. Like, I think you get a lot more respect for just saying it as it is.
For sure.
And enjoying it. And to be fair, me and Marty, like, if you heard the crap we talking up around them roads and stuff, there's nothing. No, we're not sitting there worrying about, we've wore tires off, or there's this or that or the other. We're going down the road slabbering about something you've seen on Facebook during the week. Like. Because that keeps the atmosphere good. We know what we're going to do. Like, you know
you have a job to do. There's no point talking about it before you do.
You pull up at the start line. Marty revs the car. I read the notes.
Yeah.
You keep it simple. It tends to work out more times than not. Like, a lot of boys fry their own heads before they even start. Like,
but I also have to say, Barney's a great lad to go rallying with. I've been rallying with a lot of people over the years. I have to say, we really do enjoy it, and he keeps the mood light. He keeps it good. Very smart man himself, but keeps it for what it is. And here, I tell you what, that's something that's very unique with Barney, and that's why I think we enjoy it so much. And I think that's why we actually go as fast as we do as well, is because we take it for what it is. I think I was 40 last week, and as a guy says to me, "What would your 20-year-old self say if you're looking around at yourself?" And I said to myself last week in the RAC, down around here in an M3, I think life's good. Yeah. So what odds if she breaks a gearbox or something out there, or we're not fast, or whatever? Who cares? Yeah. We're having the time of our lives.
You're out doing something you really love doing it, and with one of your best mates. So what more would you want? Yeah.
What more do you want to
do? For sure.
That's right. Yeah, that. Dom's got a cracking nickname for them, but I don't think I can put it on air. It's just quite funny when he said it to me.
Dommy's still looking about that.
Typical wee Dommy speak just deadly wild man.
But like, again, one of those unsung heroes of rallying, Dommy Buckley. You said before, Barney and Marty, I think it was you, said at the end of every stage, him and Greg's there. It's impossible how they do it, but they do it.
I'll never forget, it was 2019, and we were in between the stages at night in Kildare, no way in between the two stages. Next thing, who pops out of the bushes like Bear Grylls? Dommy Buckley. Well, I had a torch on. Well, boys, he's all right. A center. Not a center for 10-mile radius. And Dommy Buckley comes bouncing out of a hedge.
Yes.
That is Dommy Buckley.
Yes, for sure. And Barney, the livery of the car drew a lot, positive attention as well too. It was a proper throwback. We see so many cars now, historic cars especially. They're not very modern. This was a proper throwback, kind of historic. It wasn't based on nothing, but it was just a tasty historic spec livery.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in you because it is based on something.
Oh, there you go. Right.
I thought, you see now, I thought you'd have known that now. That is based loosely on a Benson and Hedges car from the Australian touring cars in 1990 or 89 or something.
Touring cars.
So I always, I always loved it. It's like a Bathurst car or something from way back in the day.
Yes.
So we talk about Marty Jeskert as the RAC car, so she's the red car with the black stripe. It always was that way when she was brand new. I mean, putting the stripes on her. Was it 07, Marty, or something?
07, yeah.
And yeah, so we wanted to keep the colours and just keep the whole thing, just a bit of continuity with it.
Yes.
We wouldn't really give a shit if there wasn't a sticker on her, and that's probably wrong coming from me. But there's a lot of people do get very wound up about it, like, and you have to sort of play the game so people do you have something to look at and appreciate or whatever, you know? So I had it in my head for a long time, and then I said to Mats, you know, when I was teasing Mats with, like, and then he said, "Oh, I'm not so sure. I said, "I don't care. I'm doing it anyway." Well, I must give a big shout out to Metamarker. It's one of my suppliers. They're very good to me, and do a lot of work with them, and they helped us out with the materials, etc. So no, very very good. And here we stayed on. Me and Big Mario used to work for me. Give me a hand on Sunday. I fired it on her in the winter airs, and everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was grand. Worked out all right. Many a day I done one. They were wild looking.
Mats,
I went one of two ways, Kevin.
Yeah, well, that's true for sure. Mats, you had no option in the colour scheme. You just had to take what you were going to get.
So yeah, to be really honest, when Barney sent it to me, I was like, mate, this is I just don't like it. I sent him a message. I said, no, Barney, this is not going to happen. And then he said, it will happen no matter what you think. I said, okay. And then when he put it on, I was like, okay, it's not so bad. And then when I saw it in real, I was like, fuck, it's actually really, really nice.
Yeah. No, it really
sometimes, you know, sometimes it's like, it just delivery is just like when you now see the videos and the pictures, it's just perfect. And also the advertisement they used on the site was really nice, because normally you want to use my name, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that. And thank God he didn't. So he put Hamey, what was for me, it was really really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's it was really nice.
Yeah, big
shout out to Hammy as well.
Hammy, aye. Big outfit in the US of A.
Yes. To make it all happen.
To make it all happen. Yep.
Thanksgiving, Hammy.
And like Marty, like that's this season wrapped up. Is there any thoughts now going into 2026, or wait and see kind of thing?
Wait and see. I would like to do more with Mats in the gravel car. Definitely. We'll have a look at. When you sit down, Barney's very busy in his work there as well. We've a lot happening next year with work, but definitely we'll sit down over Christmas and have a good look at this gravel championship to see if it's something we can realistically do or not. Because it's definitely something I'd like to do. I really enjoy the car, enjoy the new challenge, and with where we've left off with RAC, I definitely have a taste for it. And I do believe we'll be back in Donegal as well.
Excellent.
With the old four-door.
And Barney, will you be about?
I don't know, ask him at Castley.
I mean, he has to be around, otherwise them boys are not ready to go, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh, them boys, don't you worry, I'll give them a ring. So good luck to Mats this weekend. Anyway, boys, many cars have you got out this weekend? Killarney, Mats?
Yeah, 9 in Killarney and 4 in Duvach in the south of France.
Wow,
It's only a couple.
Yeah.
So now we have. Can you imagine? We had 12 gearboxes for Marty. I saw somewhere on the internet.
I had to come back with something there. Like.
Yeah. So van is completely full with boxes. No, we
more boxes than Amazon.
Yeah.
Caddy's bigger than you think.
Yeah.
So Matt's the priority this weekend is Killarney then.
Yeah, for me it's Killarney, and half of my team is in France then. So we have a nice lineup in both rallies, to be fair. And but Killarney seems strong this year, and also I'm interested to see what Alan Ring does with the new Subaru. Yeah. Because I think he can be quite quick. He knows his stages. So let's see. Today we did a good test with Meek. It was very interesting to see how we get on with the car. But apparently this year's Killarney stages is much more bumpy than the previous years. So yeah, we'll see what it brings. Thanks
there to Gordy and Mats, Marty and Barney. Gordy's heading off now to Africa now to do the East African Safari, as if he's hadn't had enough torture. You have to admire the man's, I don't know how you look at it, madness or whatever way you want to put it. And Mats then had a fantastic weekend in Killarney there just past as well. 5 cars in the top 4, absolutely brilliant for him. Those M3s really are starting to become the dominant force. And then let's wait and see what's coming next then for Marty and Barney. It sounds very exciting there for next year. as well as looking at the top cars, we always like to look at, cars that run, guys out there competing, and it's their ambition to go and compete in this event. And I think we've got 3 great candidates for this year now. Richard Hogg and Mark Hanna, named from the Northern Ireland Championship and the Scottish Championship a good few years ago now, maybe. Well, Richard has built a Rover SDI, a 3.5 V8 car. Call it Old Rumbly, it's the nickname they have given the car. To hear the story of how that's all come about, and them competing in the RAC rally, as well as that, then Mark McCaffrey from outside Enniskillen, he used to rally his ladder back in the day, almost 20 years ago since the last time he competed in that car as well too. He's got the car rebuilt, strong team of guys around him, and they wanted him to go over and do that rally as well too, so that's another brilliant story. And then Alan Treacy, as well as being the dad of Owen Treacy, the WRC star, Alan competes regularly here at home, and over the last year or so he's been out competing and doing something different, competing in different rallies across Europe. And he's always had the itch to do the RAC rally as well too. So we're going to join by the 4 of them now and just get their take on the whole event. Suppose, Richard, we'll start with yourself. Was it kind of ambition to take the big Rover there, or what possessed you to want to go there in the big Rover?
Well, that has been asked on more than one occasion. What on earth was I thinking of? Yeah, no, I mean, the car was bought around about 5 years ago with the intention of doing some rallying with it, some a bit of historic stuff with it. And life was catching us up a wee bit, and so we just didn't get the time to really go and do it. We did a few wee bits and pieces with it. And then we were trying to find the Achilles heels in the Rovers, which there are a few, and we certainly were able to find them. And then 2 years ago, when the rally ran 2 years ago, I went over with the great Stevie Emerson, actually, if you remember Stevie, and his exploits and mantas and stuff, and a few other guys, and we went and we watched the RAC in Scotland, and I just thought, flip me, this is class. There's service inside of the road, there's chase vehicles, there's everything, and I just thought Old Rumbly deserves to get a wee run around this. So, and then it went from there, and then I started and thought, right, well, Tubbs needs to be informed of what's going on here to see if we can get him galled up and get him out of retirement and get him dusted down a bit. So sent a wee text and says, here, what are you doing next November? How the frig would I know? I don't know what I'm freaking doing tomorrow. Was it I says, well, I don't know. You need to, make your mind away. He says, well, why are you asking me this question? I says, well, maybe you go and do a wee rally. Well, what wee rally are we talking about? Well, he didn't really understand what the RAC was at this stage, and that's the best way to keep these things.
Yeah, keep them under the radar.
Too much information. We'll do the RAC, down, it starts off down Wales and stuff. Oh, I stick in an entry, see how it goes. Boom, there you go. So I thought, right, we've got him lined up now at least. Like what he's letting himself in for. And then off we went and put an entry and got the entry. And then, and then the story just kind of snowballed from there. And then we got the car sorted out and got tests and everything else. So yeah, that's really what happened. And then we ended up doing the event, which was great to do it.
For sure, yeah. And Mark, you've been in retirement for a few years now. The lad is sat in the corner of the shed. Was there a lot of work to getting it back recommissioned again?
There was. I hit her on the Galloway Hills in 2008, and she was fixed after that, and she lay for years, and she got painted, and then there was, between one thing and another, time passed by, houses built and people sick, and 2 years ago, a friend of mine, Noel Lappin, he was in two minds about doing it, and I kind of gave him a push in the right direction. Kind of talked him into it. Mm-hmm. And on we went and we done it, and I says to myself, I wouldn't mind doing that. I'd been over at it years ago with a Reggie Britton. Reggie done, I think, 2006 or 2008 maybe. I was over it, and then I says I wouldn't mind doing it, so I took in, she needed a wee bit, I took in and I modified the front of the car a wee bit. Custom alloy, Sean McGair done that. And John Donnelly built me a new engine, and Reggie Britton done the axle and the gearbox for me. So I kind of says, well, I kind of have a go at it. So Gordon O'Donnell says he would sit, and he was all on for going till a couple of days beforehand, and they come up something real urgent, and he couldn't make it. But we really didn't get at the car till she come out of Sean McGair's about April, May time, and she was painted then about June time. And there's a couple of wee bits done between then and then in September I'd be working at Owen McMackin's car. Another friend of mine he also was over helping me at the weekend, him and Dean Connolly. I was working at it. I didn't really get up my own car till the week after the bushwhacker. And we took in hell for leather at it, and the closer it got, the further away it looked like we weren't going to get it. And between now, within the last month or so, there was a real good friends of mine, Bryce Hetherington, Kyle Thompson, Gary Sheridan's son, Doris Sheridan, Noel Loppin. Jesus, the list will go on now. I'll probably not mention everybody. Panty McKenzie, young fella, Panty McKenzie comes up from Auckland. He's up nearly every night of the week, 7 days a week for 2 months. But between one thing or other, we got her going on the Saturday night before John Donnelly put her going at 6 o'clock in the evening. And we took in on the Sunday and we started about seats and belts and that until with the whole dry sump pipes and all done there. And we done the geometry Sunday night. Sean McGarr made a sump yard on the Monday. Booked notes and booked the boat and all the Monday. Kind of as a cost cutting exercise because I wasn't sure whether this was going to work out or not. We took in then, we finished a bit of wiring off the trip, the wired and lights and inside around the lamps in the front of her, done that on Tuesday afternoon, and we're on the boat Tuesday night. So I wouldn't like to be run much closer to that, to tell you the truth. But it worked out.
It did, last minute.
It definitely worked out now. Another man I didn't mention to give me a hand was Derek Crossan, and the father. They done wee bits of machine and engineering work for me now. They're a good help. The list goes on. There's men who helping you from all angles, and you couldn't mention them all. I likely leave somebody out.
Of course, not going to go the way of it. Uh-huh. And Alan, for you, like it was return to the forest, and these other guys saying the amount of work goes on beforehand. Like this has been going on for months for you as well too.
Oh yeah, like Mark. No, I wasn't as bad as Mark as I thought I was as bad as him. But he's really cutting it fine. I thought I was cutting it fine on the Sunday, but yeah, I was over at that rally in 0-10 with Brian Lawler. Last minute job, got called in to give him a hand out, and that got me hooked on it. Then Jerry Murphy got wind of that, so he wrote me in 13 when Owen finished 5th in the Sunbeam, and the rally was getting longer every year, And I said, geez, I'll do this some year. But then I was wondering, no car. And I said, blame Paul Cusack at the prize give you the historic lakes in 23. He said, you'll have to go, lad. He said, in the silver one. And I said, I'll go if you'll fabricate it. And he was sorry. He said that night. So, but like that, with me this year, everything took a month further than I thought. Paul got the car in April, I'd say, after I sandblasted. Then I got it back. Then it went to be fair, Kevin Barry wired it. That dragged, no fault of Kevin's, and then it went to Tony Counts to the super job. We painted the inside, the underneath of it and everything. Tony lined up the panels and spread the panels. But you're then putting it all back together. Again, Kevin was down the Saturday before the rally. Like Mark there, all the small things, lights and the tracker leads and stuff like that. So yeah, Mike Nelligan had to go to Mike then to get mapped for the 99 fuel over. Donald Healy like that, John Moynihan, Eos, the mountain. Mark the works of me there, Mark Forbes did Trojan work in the car. Like he's come in early in the mornings before we go to work and go at the car. TJ the works for me, Bob we had a great crew, but like Mark down now the list is endless, like lads calling up Martin Crowley. Made a lot of fabrication parts for it. Just small brackets here, brackets there, big stuff. But yeah, the amount of prep was frightening. We probably overthought the rally, but it paid off because all we changed was a rose joint in the whole event.
Fair play.
Yeah. Mark, you boys then sitting in the car, you just have it easy when you hear all this other hard work goes on.
There's weaving a visible line in our cars. There is everything to the left hand side of my seat is my problem. Everything on the side Richard's.
I had to be told that twice too over the weekend, I have to say.
Pushing buttons. What are you touching? What's happening?
You know what? I'm really impressed that all you boys had the car ready before it actually got to the event. We were still freaking prepping the car before scrutiny. There was a few stuff that we just didn't get sorted out, and And the car was already in England, to be fair, with the fellas, and it was Ben. He was working at it on his own, and he just, because it was quite specialised, all the stuff we were doing, and then there was all the other stuff around it. And I looked at the car and I said, Ben, where's the rest of her? And he says, we'll have to get it sorted now. So we fell to it and got it finished off on Wednesday. So aye, I'm well impressed you boys had them ready before they got.
Our trip meter went in just before scrutiny, so it wasn't. It was a whole hand on how do you set this up?
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Google was requested, so we put it in the that was it.
So I think that's the way to go rallying, I guess.
For sure. And like Mark, from a co-driver's point of view, is there a lot of prep goes in beforehand? Do you be looking at notes? Do you look at DVD? And never mind all that, like the logistics behind it all as well.
Well, thankfully, in fairness, Richard done an awful lot of the work in the background with the logistics, which back in the day when we were in the Scottish Championship and stuff, I would have looked after all that. But Richard's a bit of time in his hands now. He's sort of semi-retired gent, and I'm still doing that other thing called work. So, in fairness, Hoggy looked after that piece, and when the notes came out, fairness to Michael Patterson, Michael sent the notes, got them. I was in Chicago and took the notes and videos and everything with me and did a bit of work on the plane. And then Richard and I had been through the stages twice, taking out some of the stuff in the notes that, like, everyone has their own way of doing their stuff. There's stuff in Michael's notes that I would never call to Richard, and there's all the things that we would put in. So we'd been through stuff and then we compared. So we went over to England Tuesday, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, did a bit of testing and managed to break a few bits and pieces just before the event. It was better breaking it there than breaking it on the event. So got that all sorted. But then we sat and we compared, that stage, don't cut from the start of this. Like, there's trees, there's fucking everything in it. And then every night before I was going to bed, I was going through the next day's notes. So there's a fair bit of prep goes into it. And the only good thing was, in a roundabout way, that the last day, basically when you'd covered the stage 31 and stage 35, you'd more or less done 32, 33 and 34. Okay. But then whenever we were coming back round and going into 35, the big one, we'd actually noted, well, I had a note in the middle of it where the halfway line, where the halfway point was, because there's 52 pages of that. And I was just talking to the boys, there's over 1,000 notes. Sorry, 2,000 notes. And whenever Richard and I had finished, we had 46 minutes in Big Rumbly in it. And I don't think I've ever concentrated or stayed as focused in my life for anything as long. Mm-hmm. And then there's other things, whenever we were coming through, it was quite rough, and Rumbly obviously likes finding, even in a straight line, she wants to, like, as I called Richard, said it was like walking through a breakdancing elephant through the jungle. So it just wanted to swap ends, and fair play to the big man, just holding on to it. But it's a mighty piece of kit for what it is, and it definitely got a lot of attention.
For sure, yeah.
It was just something different.
Yeah, like Richard, there's events that's not 46 minutes long, like, and that was just one stage. That's like, does it feel like 46 minutes, or is it all over before you even sort of get your head around it?
Oh no, it fucking felt like 46. It was, and I think anybody sitting in there can concur with that one. I think when you go into, so the longest stage we'd done before, I think, was AE, and that was 22 miles away back in the day, and that was in an Evo. So you were whipping through that at a fair rate and getting out the other side, and it wouldn't have been as rough as what that would have been the second pass through. Or there's bits was really rough and bits weren't too bad. Keeping your concentration for that length of time in any kind of car is difficult. Doing that in a historic car is really difficult, and it's a real sting in the tail to be presented with a stage like that after already doing 200 and whatever stage miles and 1,000 road miles, whatever it is, or 1,200 road miles, and you just think to yourself, flip me, is this ever going to happen? Or are we going to actually get through all this? So there's a lot of thoughts go through your head, and then when you go through, and my heart went out. Well, our hearts went out to them. There was, I'm sure, there's at least 15 off the time we were coming through it, and I was going, flip me, how sick could you not be? Like, I felt really, really sorry for them. But when you do get to the end of that, after the whole thing, the release of emotion is really, really high when you do get to that finish line, because we've all been working on this, for all of us have been working on this for a long, long time, and it's I'm sure it's a one of those boxes that a lot of people want to tick, and I'm sure all the guys here want it. It's the same sort of thing. You want to say you can do it, and you want to actually finish the bloody thing, like. And to get a class result's a bonus, but just finishing it is the big thing. And so Yeah, it's a highly emotional thing, and that emotion and that stress and pressure that builds up. I know we're all having a good laugh about it now because it is a good laugh now, but I can tell you at the time it doesn't feel like a bloody laugh.
Oh.
It feels like a bit of hard work, and but it's an experience. It's good to do it, and it's good to get it out of the way.
Kevin, to pick up on what you said there, that last stage is more than most Northern Ireland Championship events.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's run over an entire day.
Yeah.
Like that's one stage, and we'd already done 3 really good stages in that complex. Like Kielder Forest is phenomenal.
It's a whole Northern Ireland Championship in 1 week. That's what it is. When you start on Thursday till you get to, in fact, it's more than Northern Ireland Championship. So, and it would be probably more than even the Scottish Championship. So by the time you start on your Thursday night and you get to Monday night, providing you complete it all, that's more than the competitive miles spread over a year.
It's crazy.
And you're asking these old cars to go out and do this here, and most of them are, I know ours is 45 years old, like, and you're saying this, you're right, and you're not going to get any major attention through this here other than you try to pull a wheel off it or whatever, but, that's, you go for it. It's a challenge, but that's what it's all about. I mean, that is what it's all about.
Yeah. And like, Mark, whenever you hear figures like that, you're doing a full season rally in 5 days, like, do you question your sanity at times?
Oh, I'm past questioning that. I think a long time ago, whenever I explained to some of them in the construction industry and explained to some of the lads in the office, I'm going away rallying. Oh, will you be back next week? He says, yeah. He says, when's it start? He says, I'm leaving on Wednesday morning at 6, flying into London, getting the train over to meet Richard, scrutiny, ceremonial start, and we'll get in the car Thursday. And everything going to plan, we'll get out of the car on Monday night. Oh, will you be rallying all week, or you just drive around? unless people know, like, you may as well talk to the fucking cat next door.
I know.
But it's look here. Obviously, Hoggy and I've done a fair bit of rallying, as you know, over the years, and like any navigator and driver that's been a long time together, there's a bond and a relationship and a trust, and no matter what car it is.
Yes.
Yes, like, he knows whenever I'm getting growly on my side of the car, whenever maybe I missed a road section piece, so I did, and I was more pissed off with myself, and he knew I was starting to get annoyed with myself. But as he said, like, it's done, get on with it. But it was great to come back. Like the last competitive stages Richard and I done was Lark in the Park when we won it back in 2013 in the Group A Evo.
Right.
And then whenever he rang me and says, young Tubbs, come on, we'll go for the crack. I says, dead on, chip. Stick an entry and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And then I get the text message, entry accepted, and I'm going, oh, shit. I have to go and get a license. My license hadn't been renewed since the Ulster. I sat for Fitton McGrady, obviously, after Richard, and I'd done the Ulster with Fitton back in 15 and 16. Mm-hmm. And then I went in to did a load of Ironman stuff for Marie Curie and what have you. But my license hadn't been renewed since 2016. I rang McGrady up and said, Fitton, where's my steel helmet? He says, Tubbsy, that would be out of date, son, about 2001. That's the Valley School Ireland, we donated those. New helmet, new race suits, new license, and then pace notes and DVDs and everything else. But I'm a long time at it, so you forget. We were actually talking about it whenever I started rally in 1996. We thought, being a Connie Surveyor's Amby trade, I thought I'll keep a wee note of this. Tires, entry, petrol, all the wee stupid bits and pieces. We got to the bottom of the first page in the journal, added up the first page, and every page in that book has been empty since. We got to the bottom of the first page and thought, oh, you wouldn't want to look at this.
No, better not looking at it.
And that's before we started to bend anything.
Yes. And like, Mark, it was you talked about all the guys that come together to get the ladder, on the boat. And like that, you hadn't the time for the the sitting down and the prep with the notes and all that. You had quite a funny story about getting the notes sorted out.
I ordered the notes. I rung Owen McMacken on the Monday. I says, it looks like we're going to get going, and he forwarded me Killian's number, and I rung him, and with a bit of talk to whoever, I can't remember who, all I talked to this boy Francis. Maybe I was talking to him for a while. But the notes was ordered, and he says that we haven't time to post them over. He says, would you be fit to lift them at signing on? So between one thing and another, I don't know whether a bit of confusion or what happened, but the notes wasn't signing on. But I met Killian in 5 mile before the first on Thursday morning, which is time enough because we wouldn't have time to look at it. An old man would think we're mad, but you had worked out all right, you know, it was grand. We're only going over for a bit of crack, you know, we're not going to go, you'll be serious about the whole thing, there's no point.
No.
You never hear, you never hear like that there, so we got them that morning and so we made the best of it and went on, that was it.
Yeah. And pulling up to the start of the first stage, because it had been so long since you even started rally, was there a lot of nerves on board then at that stage?
There wasn't a lot of nerves, to tell you the truth. I'd be a wild man for acting idiot, and the 2 men that I had doing management or Chase was Owen McMahon and Dean Conley, and if you know them, the thing was far from serious. And so everything was made light of everything, and so we just went on ahead and got on with it. Killian was great, he met us and all, there was no problem. In actual fact, when I went to pull in to meet them, I pulled in at a shop or something. I was waiting a couple of minutes, and I happened to be walking around her, and I seen there was an oil leak on her. There was a dry sump pipe had loosened on her, and we got a lot of tools and we got all tight now. It was no big issue, but by good luck, we had to pull in. You know, there was a reason that you had to pull in. Other than that, we wouldn't have seen a wee bit of an oil leak. But if it worked out, so what?
Yeah, for sure.
I'd do it again. You know, if I had an opportunity to do it again, you would. It'd be no good if you're sitting ready a week before it either.
No, it'd be no fun in that.
That's never going to happen, Mark.
No. Connor, you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Alan. You know, when you're putting the car together, like, is it a balance keeping the car historically authentic, but also ensuring that it's going to survive a 5-day, you know, endurance?
Yeah, I suppose bar the gearbox, we could have probably run fully historic, but we had the sequential in it, and we didn't have another box. But yeah, I didn't want to go LED light bars or anything like that. I stuck with the pad and with 2 Oscars that I thought it was going very well. I had 2 Oscars that came with the Escort, and I had yellow stuff for the fog and all cut out for the Mark Murphy got it. The 2 Oscars are below in Pimbury somewhere anyway. They never saw fog. I managed to go up a 4-foot bank in Pimbury. I don't know how I didn't roll the car, but it just cost me 2 spot lamps and 2 brand new covers. I was gutted, but anyway. But I just went through everything. Like I said, I went with 2 of everything except an engine. And no, Lappin actually taught me if you could get your hands on an engine, bring one. But we decided against it because we said if it's gone to that stage, we might be better go to the bar. two of everything else. We did go, like I said, no, we just went through it. We've 2 ECUs, two everything, but not all in the car, obviously in the chase band, you know. But to be fair to Mark Murphy, now Mark spent nights and days down here as well. He's a mechanic and he did a lot of work. And Mark and myself have never sat together before. We met one night in the middle of the night in Macroom at a night nav, and I told him I had a half a notion I'd love to do it. And he said, if you're ever doing it, I'd give you a hand to service. I'd just love to go to that rally. As it turned out, I didn't have a navigator. So I said to him there in January, I says, come here, you're on about the RAC, would you sit in? Are you serious? And I said, yeah, and sure, he was mad for it, you know. So, and he enjoyed it. A good navigator now, you know, and a good mechanic as well.
Did you use many of your second bits? Did you? You know,
nothing. But I spotted a rose joint myself on Sunday night, and the lads were anxious to go out to Kielder to get a van out there. And I said, if I have to stay at the car till 4 a.m, we're going to go through it, nut and bolt. We did, and I spotted a bent rose joint on the inner track control arm. I had 2 of those in the chase van, so we changed that. But that was the way I looked at this rally. It's always the case, if you have 2 of them,
but you're not needed, yeah.
You won't need it. But if I was over there and I had 1 shock, I'd probably need 2. So yeah, no, I suppose the speeds weren't high, you know. I mean, I use very little tires now. You know,
I think it was so slippy. I think that was the real.
Yes.
That was the real clinker. It was just so slippy. We used a quota of we used 20 tires, which was and to be honest, I don't even think we needed the 20.
Yeah.
And that I say that old machine should be a tire reader. But
there must be a lot in the back for that.
There's a lot of. She's quite light in the back actually, and that's the issue. Yeah. Quite heavy in the nose, quite light in the back, and then she spins up a lot. So, but because it was very slippy, and then the time we were coming through, any surface, any of the hard spiky stuff on the surface was gone. So
Where were you running? Were you running?
Well, we were running at one stage. We were running in around about 40, 45.
Right.
But then of course, then I don't know what happened. The track control arm broke. I don't know what happened. It quite possibly was. I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. We cut in a bit too tight. But anyway,
we glanced a twig.
We glanced a twig.
And the whole twig actually done the damage. The twig was grand.
And then I've got new wheels on it. I blame the tires because the tire went down as well, but it might be the wheel broke. But anyway, but that set us back. Then that set us back to about in around about the 100, I think 110. And then we fought our way back up to 80s or so. So we're running in that sort of late 80s, 100. Yeah. Most of the
to be fair now to the way they, and I didn't know that until they issued the start times. It was brilliant for the likes of myself and Mark now with the lower power cars. To run ahead of the field.
Oh no, and it was the only way to do it. You could where we were running at the back, you just would have got stuck. I mean, it took the bigger, heavier cars that could actually rattle through that. And no, absolutely 100% correct thing to do.
And that long stage now was the only stage I noticed.
That would have been better for you boys.
Seriously cut up. Seriously.
Yeah.
I remember when we were pulling out and you were all parked in that middle bit, that regroup, and I'm thinking,
I saw you coming in. We were going.
Well, I was thinking, fucking hell! Imagine these lads now having to come in behind us after this because this is going to be brutal.
Yeah. Skateboards.
Well, it was the ruts were so deep, weren't they? And anywhere where they'd started the first 3 stages, when you come down into it, like it was just like.
I was mental. And to echo what you said, I just felt so sorry for the guys that went off. Two French guys in an escort to British Airways took off in front of us. I said 2 miles, 3 miles, they rolled,
Yeah. And on the left-hand side?
See, no, on the left-hand side, there was a guy in a green and white escort. Did you see the Porsche inside in the drain as well?
I did.
It was Mark one escort.
Did you notice down the very end of it?
Escort in the river.
But 5 miles from the very end, there's a way down. There's a big deep gully. It must have been 100-foot deep.
That's right.
And we're coming scalping down into that, and the lights is all over the shop. And I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, girl, you steady or something. She was getting really rumbly. Was getting a bit out of shape. And we went away out, and I looked over and I thought, holy shit, look at that down there. Because and I thought, no, I better not tell him anything about that. You could only see the rip of the yoke, but she was at least 100 foot away. And I thought, for goodness sake. And the 2 boys was coming crawling out of her. You could see them getting out of her, but you just thought to yourself, flip me, how ill would you be doing all that rally and getting out and that happening? There was who was in the Mini that got going, went off in the last stage and jacked themselves out? Who was that?
Oh, it was a white one or something. I read about that. Yeah.
I read about that today, and I thought, fair dues. Got out before the last car came out. Before they.
To be fair to the organisers, if you did get out of the last one, once they got you out, if you could make your own way back to Caroline, you were classed as a finisher. Like Proctor and the Sierra and that.
Brilliant. I did see them into it. Oh, brilliant. Well, that was good. That was good. I like the trophy they give you that they didn't give you.
Yeah. I was just going, did I miss something?
So you have to go to the
prize giving.
What the frick? The prize giving is not till January, Tubbs. What's that?
1st of January.
Kind of timing.
We're going to do the prize.
We'll have to nominate one person. We'll have to nominate one person to go. Kevin, you can go.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, Kevin, do us a favour and lift for Richard now, will you?
Mark, they're all talking about the amount of stuff they had to take over. Did you have much stuff to take over for the ladder, or was it the guys there mid do with what they had?
Well, there's just running escort, running gear. You're the most of it. Those
right.
At the end of a pair of front legs, at a pair of back shocks, at a gearbox or something, at a diff. Generally, there's more food we're bringing than anything else. Stuff to eat. And the way as a cooking was the way of it left.
That was a bigger priority.
That was a bigger priority to me, and I wasn't going to go hungry.
No, and you're actually really right, Mark, because we used there was a girl there doing a bit of catering, and when I worked out what it would cost to get the food in and everything else to make the food, it was actually as cheap. Well, it wasn't quite as cheap, but it was just a little bit more expensive. But she did the food, and when you come in, didn't matter when you come in, she always had the food was ready, and some of the boys went and got it, and I'll tell you what, it was so important. So
important. Very much so.
Because I mean, that's a very good point. Food is a big thing, and because you're coming in at all sorts of odd times. Like, I mean, coming in for your dinner at 12:30 at night is kind of a funny one. But anyway, it's she was always there. To be fair, Nicola was always there, and she did a bit of work for M Sport, I think, somewhere along the line. So she understood how the whole thing works, how the event would work. And if you come running over, there was one of the services they cut from 35 to 10 minutes just on the button to try and get us all.
It was the one down in the second one, with the second loop we had to go around. We just got our lights on, fueling before then. So we come back in, then went straight up the road to Carlisle that night.
That was in Carmarthen, or no, sorry, up above. But I mean, it was literally in. You had 10 minutes to get that sorted out, and we were going back out again for another like 3 or 4 hours, and everybody was hanging with hunger. Like over Tubbs and I was hanging with hunger. So, but the food, boom, there it was ready, and we got something to eat, and the boys got the lights strapped onto her, filled her up with fuel, and says, "Away you go, big lad, you're on it." So that was that. So really, really important, Martin. No, to be fair, that was a really important, a good point. That actually, very good.
And for that sort of event, or that length of an event, do you go in with an endurance mindset to pace yourself, or do you have particular stages that you're going to target to push hard on?
Well, we certainly did. We were south of Wales. I wouldn't have known them really, other than on McCrae dirt or some of those things where you might go rattling through them on the computer. But as we come further north, then I would start. I mean, we were really looking forward to the Scottish and the border stages, which we've done most of those before. And those were the target for us, and it was Craig, I think, was one of the big wide ones, and that certainly suited old Rumbly, because you could get her up into fifth and just kind of cruise along, and she kind of just filled the road, and so we would have targeted that for sure. I don't know what the rest of you boys, but that was us, and we got up into the north, and that's where we're going to make our time up on the Sunday after we dropped so much on the Saturday. I said we'll try and put our socks up here and get a good rip through. And see where that takes us on the Sunday on stuff that we knew, which was good for us that we knew it. So yeah, that's where we really put, and we pushed all day Saturday or Sunday.
We had three stage maximums on this Saturday, and then and again, Kevin, Lady Luck, we at that Tommy fail stage, which was a replacement stage, with 3/4 of the way through it, whenever we had the small issue with the twig and the little hole that followed the twig. Got that all fixed up. The next 3 stages, we got 3 stage maximums plus a minute per stage. But the second loop, because of the conditions on the road and the carnage that was out on the traffic and everything else, they cancelled that.
Yeah.
So we started the next morning 8.5 minutes when we were leading the class going into that stage, and we were back 8.5 minutes. Went up into Scotland the following day, and come out of Scotland leading the class again. Again, fair play, big man. During the day stages and then the night stages pushed on. We took chunks of time out of the boys in the night, but as you can imagine, big Rumley's not for the faint-hearted.
No.
Right, coming out that one where we hit the wheel and all, it was kind of there was a bit of a bush fix to get her out of the stage, because we got her. It really collapsed over we changed this flat wheel, and I thought, well, that's good. That's all that was. That was good. Well, the broken wheel, like, we changed it over, and then come out the stage, and she rattled on not so bad. And as soon as we went over the finish line, the frickin' wheel fell off her. Like, so the whole track control arm broke on her. And it was just after the flying finish, and it was a dangerous enough out spot to be fair. And I thought, well, I can't be doing anything with it there. I'm going to get the hole knocked off me. So kind of left at that. And then the last car came through, or the road opening car, whatever it was, came through, or some of those big Defender things came through, whatever they came through. And I said, right, that's it. And we actually were fit to got what was left of the track control arm, pushed back into the hole, and got a ratchet strap on, and got it strapped up. And then the boys are going, "You're here? How did you get here?" I said, "Oh." There's a lot of that goes on. I'm sure there must be a lot of that goes on through that whole event, where people are just, determined to keep going and just get some kind of a bush fix to get their thing out of the stage and keep going and get some sort of a time on it. So,
yeah. But that, Kevin, that comes across too with the organisers. Like, if you physically get yourself back into time control, you spend all night working at the car, take your penalties, reset, and go again the next morning.
Yes.
Or that had been around at home. So we've been going to the end of the stage, putting the car in the trailer and heading to the pub.
There's no point of continuing. Yeah. So
no, it was one of the things Dean Beckett had said to me too. Just keep an eye on your lateness time and all that good stuff, and act the right man. But they're to finish.
Yes. And like, Alan, that must make such a difference whenever the organisers is with you. They're sort of a guiding hand almost.
Well, they had to, because you weren't going to get anything done in the midday service because it was only 25 minutes. So by the time you came in, and you possibly needed lights and you needed fuel, and you tried to grab a cup of coffee. And to be fair to my gang now, like that with the food we were eating out of the van, but it was good. There were cooked sausages and rashers. But Martin Crowley was brilliant at organising all that and Bob, but it was tight, so you did need the time at night, but we were willing to stay at the car at night. But as it turned out, we still got to bed at a reasonable hour. Did any of you lads get caught in the traffic up in Riccarton and Hindley? Where the two stages crossed. To be fair to Greg McCormack, only for him, he cleared the road that night. All the spectators parked to one side, and cars were coming off one stage, and we were trying to go up against them, and people wouldn't back, and there was a guy with a trailer, but Greg did Trojan walk that night now, clearing the road there,
To be fair, we noticed that as we were coming in, and coming into the stage. Was that the one, and there was two-way, there was, and it said, I says, this is never going to frigging work here. Like, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. And we just about got in. Was that the one we got in on, Tubbs, or not? Was that the right one?
Yeah.
They cancelled them afterwards. That was the loop was cancelled then.
No, wait, that was on the Saturday night. That was after Tommy fails.
Yeah.
The road traffic was mental.
Sorry, that was us. We were coming out we weren't going through the last, because we'd already lost our time for the last loop, or for the second two stages. So we were just actually coming down, and I can remember coming down that thinking, why they fix all these cars? Why is this all going to work? Like, this is going to be a disaster. And then you're right. Then that, of course,
that was probably the only backfire they had, and it was only a half mile of the road, maybe, or a mile. But
Alan, and we're not complaining, and it's small blessings. They cancelled 4 stages, because they got 4 maximum times in 4 minutes.
Maybe it was you rang all those people.
Just you over there, son. That's a good spot. Just there's some parker up. Put you that van across there. Never picking where the
So that was your van and trailer coming down.
Yeah, up and down, up and down.
And poor Greg McCormack getting stressed over it.
Never seen Greg McCormack stressed yet.
No. No better man for organising people.
And Mark, you mentioned there, your guys there too were there every time you needed them. Like, there was somebody there doing the chase crew. There was the guys in the service area. Like, these are guys that you've helped. You've been doing the prep for the last 15, 20 years for these guys. Was there a chance to come back and repay you?
Yeah, no. I knew everybody was a good help, and they mucked in, and there was no, everybody got on with it. They made light of the situation, went on, and it worked the best. Nobody was getting paid. You couldn't afford to pay anybody. It was dear enough between boats and anti-fee and all, without having to get into that. For me, Owen McMahon, Dean Connolly, Noel Lappin, Canty McKenzie, and a Shane Boyd from Roslay. There was, and the navigator Davy Maxwell, he sat in at the last minute. Everybody mucked in and got on with it. Nobody was afraid to get their hands dirty. And it's kind of the way things nearly should be. Things have got away from that. They've got into nearly a big enterprise, and it's like the clubman's gone nearly and rallying at the minute. That's the way I see it.
You don't think, Mark, with the likes of that rally there, that brought the clubman stuff? I mean, we didn't. Our boys wouldn't take money. I did offer someone that was running me. Anthony McCann. I mean, I offered Anthony because Anthony's got his own business, and I said, and they give you something for the week you're away. And he's absolutely point blank refused. So. And my son Philip was one of the other boys, and another couple of lads. So, but you don't think that's the whole spirit of that event, apart from the boys that run at the very front. Once you go by, sort of probably, I don't know, around about 10 maybe on the road or whatever they got. After that, it is very much everybody's trying hard, but it is very much club and stuff, or it feels like club and stuff anyway.
Yeah, everybody's helping out to make sure you get round it.
If you needed something, if you needed something. Shout and you'll get it. Or if I needed something, well, there's not too many boys or too many rovers about now. Well, not that many lads. We were running a pretty rare outfit now, to be honest. But there was always somebody asking if you needed something. We broke the track control arm. I mean, I've never seen as many boys saying, "Are you all right? Can you get going again, or what's the crack?" And so there's a great spirit about the whole thing.
That is probably something that is missed. Yes, the rallying's so competitive. The rally, and there's good people about it, but that kind of helping out, and getting boys to the end, irregardless.
100%, yeah. Like as Richard said, it is slipping from that at home. I mean, like anytime I do a rally, it's all voluntary. I'll help out one guy, he'll help me out. Jeez, we've actually gone to rallies, myself and Bob, and serviced the car and did the rallies, and that's with the 2-litre Corolla. We went to Donegal this year. There's 3 of us: myself, Bob, and Martin Crowley. and we did Donegal. That's the way we operate. We use our own vans, you know, and that's the way, in my book, to a certain degree, it should be. I mean, right, if you're running a Rally 2 car or something, yes, you're not going to run that out the back of a transporter van, but, you know, for what the likes of we're at, and like that rally really is more than a rally, it's an adventure, like, and
oh, definitely.
So everything you think about rallying out of your head and just deal with it as it happens, you know. That's the way I thought about it anyway. So,
like, as you say, it's more than a rally. Mark, maybe Mark Hanna, it is like it's a lifetime dream. It's one of those tick box thing that you really want to do.
In his case, it was like a 4-month dream. He didn't
nightmare.
You know, whenever I talked to you, we got an entry. Oh, right. What do you say again? No, but before it actually, you haven't done it, and I'd be the first to admit, you know, with so much going on in my world at work and what have you, whenever we talked about it, and don't get me wrong, like, it was in my diary for months, but it was I didn't really think an awful lot about it, because in fairness, Richard did a lot of the logistics done with the boys in England. So like, we had 2 guys at the chase, 2 in the service, and then Owen. So, you know, 2 of Richard's sons were there, and it's great again, because like, whenever Richard and I were doing this 20 years ago, like, they were all cubs, and now, you know, they were the ones. We were getting into the car at night and going back to the hotel, and Philip and Anthony, gearbox oil, diff oil, steering rack, like, and the 2 boys, nothing was an issue. So it wasn't, they just get into it. But it's again that stuff. You see, whenever you go with the right open attitude, and you could worry, you could stress yourself stupid, but you're stress the thief of time. You just take it as it comes and control the controllables.
Yeah. Yeah, cause, like, and the other, Mark, there is no point of getting stressed. You know, like it doesn't solve anything. It's just to make the best of what's in front of you.
Well, that's it. You'd only end up ruin it, you know, for yourself if you did get annoyed with a thing. But thank God there wasn't much, you know, to get annoyed about. You just carried on and got on with it and got around it. You know, it was nice to get away with it. It was nice to do it, but it was also nice to get home with
And like, you had everything thrown at you, because you had ice, you had fog, you know, you had the works. Like, it's a lot to contend with over 4 days.
Well, Connor, just on one of the stages on the must have been the Friday night, we slid on a wee bit, and on a hairpin left or a square left or whatever it was, and slid up a bit of a dike, and there was a line of boys sitting in front of us.
Oh, cheeky bastards.
One of the boys, I can see looking, he's looking straight at me into the white of my eyes. I can see, he says, "You can't park there, mate."
Well, I just give him a
I'm just looking at him going, "Okay, that fuckers we have to tell us we can't park here." I'm trying to get her into reverse to get the thing. Now, he was trying to get into reverse as we were gathering speed on the brakes, going into the night. But I got it.
She just sat and spun anyway, didn't
He says, the Rover, the big Rumley was about to touch a man's boots, and he just looks in and he says, "You can't park there, mate."
It all comes back, you know, the thing about that event is so bloody long that, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking, oh, I freaking remember that now, like, and then another picture appears on social media, and you go, shit, Jesus, I remember that now.
Well, sure, they us with that small incident at the start of the Castle. It wasn't Castle or the stage that Rumley sort of coming out a wee bit of a hole in the. Richard, I knew about that. There's one on down the stage later on too. But if somebody's got a photograph, it might appear. But as Richard says, you can do nothing.
No, there's a man somewhere with a camera phone, isn't there? You know.
What's this? Young Anthony says to me, because we knocked the 2 mirrors off her, or there's dents in the 2. There's chromey mirrors on her, very fancy, like.
Yes.
But the mirror glass came out of the both sides. They were just kind of on my line. There's bushes and stuff. So anyway, we're getting the service at one stage. And Anthony says to me, he says, "Richard, what are you doing to them mirrors?" I don't know. It must be big insects out there. He says, "They must be like bucking lobsters." Flying lobsters out there. He said, "Look at the dent in them mirrors." That's the sort of sensible chat we were having.
Yes. And then, Richard, a thing I suppose that need to touch on, your the social media around your event as well too. Second to none. It was really good.
Well, I have a confession to make in that one. My own is the youngest fella. He actually works for Red Bull Motorsport in Salzburg as social media brother expert in World Rally. I don't know what the fuck it is. But anyway, so he's really quite good. So he's able to go in and he knows how to make the thing work. And we've had 230,000 views and stuff. And I'm going, what the is that all about? Like, well, it's an odd car. It's not everybody's going to take one of those out, and I can now understand why. And, So she is a bit of an odd car, and of course Tony Pond and Rob Arthur would have a heritage in that part of the world that's second to none. So people really latched on to that, and the fact that we kept the car in the computer vision colours and kept it. Well, there was one old boy I think said to some of them in service, "You shouldn't have Tony Pond in that. That's not his original car." I think the answer was
F enough.
Whatever way you like, but just move along nicely, sir. So it's very good, and it's very good, and and I think once you get a bit of traction on stuff, I don't really understand it all. I don't know how it all works, but Owen obviously knows how it works, and I think once you get a bit of traction on that, and it starts to, then it seems to just kind of snowball. It's amazing. I just find it amazing, and actually it's quite touching the amount of support that people are actually giving you, and the encouragement to go on, and even you whip the wheel off the thing, well, you need to get that going, we need to see her back out again. You're thinking, right, well, we really do need to get it going and messing about. So it's been good. That bit's been good. Way beyond my freaking calculation of how it all works. I mean, RPM was my thing,
Yeah.
Plum and Pamela. But the good thing was, Richard and I get on on-site training. Now, post that onto the reel and link that to your Instagram, and then put that in your story. You're going.
So I tell you what I did. I just ran to get here.
I was happy enough with it, with the what do you call it, the wee stories and the photographs, but Owen done the full-on videos, captions and stuff. It's excellent.
And I suppose then, before we wrap up, the question would be, like, you've done it once. Is that enough, or is the itch still there to go back again? Maybe Mark, we'll start with you down there. You think with a lad I'll go again?
I'd say, well, no, I'd like to go back to that. I'd like to be a wee bit more prepared for that. Like, we're well prepared, but we're just everything was again last minute now at the end of it. But no, I'd definitely go back to it. It's good value for money when you can get the whole thing.
Yes,
it might be dear to begin with, like your antifreeze a wee bit maybe on the price. It isn't. Compared to the mileage, what you're getting, it works out all right. And if any man was maybe thinking about doing, so why not? Like, you're only young once at the end of the day.
That's for sure.
Easy.
I was only young once.
Alan, same question to yourself. Do you think the Corolla will make another trip across the sea?
Yeah, I suppose all the hard work is done now, and if I didn't do a lot more with that car, I'd like to go back and concentrate on the stages. I only looked at the first 4 stages to myself, and I did a small bit with Owen there and my Heron and that, but I just said then that I'd fall into it as it went on, because I just didn't have time between work and getting the car ready. But the next time, I suppose, we had an in-car camera, so you could do a bit of working, but that's now that you're going to do it to go over the stages day and night. But if you could, you know what to expect the next time, and I suppose that you wouldn't have as much pressure about finishing it either. It was always in the back. I don't mind what anyone would say. It was the back of my head anyway. I wanted to finish it.
Absolutely.
We were halfway through the last stage. Sorry, and there was a guy pulled in changing a puncture. And Mark, I refused to ask him how many pages were left, but I did think we were only 2/3 of the way through. And Mark says to me, "Yeah, look at him now. Put that effing car into first gear and drive it out the rest of the way." And I said, "There's no way I'm doing that." And he said, "There's only 2 pages left." And I knew then it was only 2 kilometres. And geez, it was like a wait. No, they were the most stressful 2 kilometres, I'd say, left. But yeah, I would go back. And, I suppose you'd have a better handling, even though, as I said, I did chasing it before, but then it was only 3 days, I think, or 4. And it didn't move like it did this time. So, I'd say I'd probably go back all right, yeah, definitely.
For sure. And Mark, if the call come again, would you be prepared to jump into Big Rumley again?
Hogg and I've been around many a lap and many a road, and there's many a story, and we're out as long as the 3 of us are still fit to do it, and are in a very fortunate position to be able to do it, which is, you have to be very thankful to. We get to choose. We get to do this.
Yes.
And whenever Rich and I done some of the stuff, the highs in motorsport are phenomenally high and the lows are suicidal at times. But the crack, and obviously haven't done it now, I would go, but put it this way, I'll renew my license for next year, if that makes sense. I need to get value out of my helmet soon.
So, Richard, it looks as if you have no choice.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I think there's a bit of unfinished business in there as well. And as Alan says, it's to get the monkey off your back to actually finish the rally was the big thing. And to get some sort of a class position was just a bonus to it. So, but what I would really like to, I don't think Mark's going to be fit to do it, but I would really like to do is next year, it's on my bucket list, is to go and do the Silver Fern.
Oh, yeah.
Take the car over there. Because I really wanted to prove out the car would do it. And I know people say, well, it's really expensive, but actually it's not that bad once you get there.
Is there room in the container? Could the Corolla squeeze in and you wouldn't even
right. But well, I'll tell you
could put the Corolla inside our car, you wouldn't know.
We can set up a wee Irish team here, because what they do is there's a container and it's got, like a car transport, it's got a up your ramp and down your ramp. And I think it's like £1,400 each way or something. It's not that dear. You have to send your spares out on a pallet and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, I kind of diversify away from, would I do RAC again? Yeah, because I'm a sadistic bastard. So.
But Kevin, in fairness too, the bit that Richard's not telling you, there's a lot of work went into the back of Rumbly.
Yes.
Richard did manage to, when we went testing, we weren't driving around for the crack.
Yes.
So in Richard's style, which has been televised over many a year, he did find the weak spots, and then there's a lot of bits and pieces put into it. So it was one thing that the two of us were very conscious that it's a 45-year-old car. To get round it, go 85%, and then even I think stage 1 or 2, where we could caught stage 1, I think it was, Richard, and we got caught behind the red Escort that went on fire.
Oh yeah.
We were in the middle of that whole episode, and then we got a nominal time, and even the time they give us, and it's the luck of the draw. It was the last cleared car, but that night we went out and we were a minute and a half quicker than the nominal time in the night stage of the same stage, and you're going,
yes.
But look, it's rallying. There's no point crying about it. Just get on with it.
Yes.
So in fairness, getting the car around it was certainly something that was certainly an achievement, and I take my hat off to the big man. We've sat in a lot of stuff, but that's a different kettle of fish than anything we've done before.
So thanks there now to the two Marks and Richard. What a brilliant story. Each, their own fascinating insights and how it all come about. How this was the lifetime ambition, and they're not finished yet. And there could be a wee trip to New Zealand before long for some of them there as well too. So we'll have to keep up to date with all that. So that's the latest episode of Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast. Please like, share, rate, subscribe, all those things we keep telling you to make a huge difference. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.